The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, more questions on that U.S. indictment. So why is there no more information that was initially revealed? We hear from Prime Minister Davis coming up. Also tonight, workers at the Postmaster General's office stopped work to ensure that authorities got their message loud and clear. Have the acting Postmaster General removed. And also tonight, does Easter have the same significance that it once did? We'll show you how Christians are being treated in the United Kingdom during this sacred time. And later tonight, Miss Teen Meaguana, one of the contestants in the upcoming Miss Teen Bahamas pageant, joins me. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. We will get to all those stories in just a moment, but let's just skip along to what this is, the season, the Holy Week, in fact. It is Holy Week. It is that time leading up to Good Friday and, of course, Resurrection Sunday, or Easter Sunday, as many people call it. Christians around the world view this as the most sacred time on the Christian calendar. However, many are concerned that Christianity is under attack. Take a look at what's happening in the United Kingdom this Easter.
Welcome back to GBN Tonight with me, Martin Daubney. Now, the Labour-ran Rushmore Borough Council has sparked outrage by proposing a sweeping injunction that could see Christian street preachers imprisoned for up to 2 years. And if the injunction is breached, now over claims of causing offence or distress. Now, under the proposed terms, Christians will be banned from praying for individuals, handing out religious leaflets or Bibles by hand, and laying hands on people in prayer, even with their permission.
So there you have it, quite startling. In fact, that has caused discussion here locally. And even just to talk about shining the light here as well, about where Christianity has come, the significance of the church. Does the church have, even in this sacred time, the sort of pull and impact that it once did? We're going to start right there this evening. Welcome to the show. It's good to have both of these ladies back, Pastors Patrice Smith and Carol Moss. Good evening to both of you, and happy Easter, as people say in the greeting, but welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Good evening. Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Good to be here.
Good to have you both.
Yes.
Your response to what you saw just a minute ago from the United Kingdom that's happening right now, I mean, that's now. That's not a couple of years ago. That's not last year. That's now.
Shanique, I want to say that most certainly this is disheartening to me as a believer, definitely as a preacher, to see that our religious freedoms are eroding around the world, and even to a certain degree, in our neighbor right to the north, the United States. And hopefully it does not trickle here to the Bahamas. But this is disheartening, what is happening in the UK, in particular with this new government, the Labour Party that came in. And I am so surprised because England is basically the bedrock in Europe of Christianity. Yes, of course, we know Martin Luther and all of the other Smith Wigglesworth and the other great men, Wesley, made such an impact in Europe starting from England. And so I am surprised to see that this is actually happening. And of course, we being a territory of England, of the UK, I hope that does not spill over here into the Bahamas, because I was listening to it and it said really and truly that even if somebody gives you permission to pray for them in public, that you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to pass out tracts. You're not allowed to use what we would call loudspeakers. And what amazed me is that they took a polling. And it seems that in taking this polling, some of the citizens were complaining that hearing preachers on the outside, and this is crazy, but hearing preachers on the streets made them uncomfortable. One particular person said it ruined her day in her neighborhood when she heard that there was a preacher outside preaching. And then another person said it goes against inclusion. Well, of course, we know where that person is from. And so this is something now the church must fight against. We must push back and fight against our religious freedoms eroding, not just around the world, but also in the Bahamas, because you know how we go, we tend to follow what we see. And so I'm really surprised that this is happening.
Yeah, it's really no surprise. I mean, that was sort of the trend, Pastor Carol, headed by the North for quite some time. It's just sort of taken a different turn recently. But your response before we move into this Easter season and how it's viewed here in the Bahamas and why?
Well, Shanique, I think that's a diabolical, my favorite word, against the church. I think it's sending a message to silence the mouth of the prophets and to silence the preachers and in the church. Because I'm experiencing the same spiritual attack right here in the Bahamas.
Wait a minute, you are saying there is an indirect silencing of Christians right here in the Bahamas?
Right here in the Bahamas.
Do tell.
I believe that every time that, even when I come on Eyewitness News, or I would even speak on Facebook, there is a violent attack against me. And Shanique, if you know the kind of things, and you don't know because you see us on this broadcast, but you don't know what we go through. And so for me, persons would call, they would threaten me, they would say by December of last year that you would be dead. Those who preach along with you would be dead. They would say you buggered. They would start cursing at me. They would throw slurs at me. They would attack me. When I would put a post, they would make the post go viral. And the most hideous things that you could say. And so while this is happening in the United Kingdom, this is happening all over the world. But I believe, Shanique, there is a diabolical plot to shut down the preachers.
So Bahamians are adopting this attitude of let the preachers go in the corner and shut up.
Yeah, just shut up. And once you start talking about blessing and talking about favor, but when you start targeting things like sin and the LGBT community and certain things that are on our borders, then they have a problem. Then you saying, okay, a preacher can't preach, then you will get incarcerated or jail time. And they don't understand, Shanique. We ready to do this jail time. We ready to do this. See, because when God called you to say something, you have to say it. And so right here in this country, and that's why the war is happening in the church, because we are warring ourselves. And so they say some mean things. Shanique, for you to say by December, you're going to be dead.
You were threatened.
I'm serious.
On social media.
Social media. And then you have persons who feel as if because they are propped up by some people who they think they're good with, they blatantly commented my post and then they share my post and the meanest things they could say that they to silence the mouth of the prophets and the preachers. But the devil is a liar.
Well, do you feel that is affected? That strong bullying tactic of listen, hey, hold up, don't touch this, don't touch that, don't speak to this and that. Do you think that has silenced, number one, the church, and also lessened its impact because there are some pastors who perhaps are reluctant to speak out and go on Front Street and address certain things?
Well, Shanique, totally. There are many preachers right now who are afraid to say things publicly because they're seeing the violent attack against preachers. I remember this lady said something, she prophesied, and they dragged this preacher, they dragged this prophetess, to the point where she had to go down in prayer. And so many preachers, many pastors, many prophets are not saying stuff because of the violence against us. The violent manner, the diabolical attacks, the meanness, the rudeness. And then when they see you, they pass you straight and they want to attack you. So there are times you have to have persons around you who can kind of protect you. That's how serious this is, not just only in this country, but around the world. But that's here too. That's here in the Bahamas. But I want you to know, either way, we're going to preach and say what God said.
Okay, well, let's talk about preaching and saying what God says this Easter after all.
Yes.
This is when that message is most poignant, it's most impactful, and it should be at its strongest. Is there regard for Easter anymore in the Bahamas, and what the whole message and Easter stands for? Not the bunny rabbit and the Easter eggs, but what it truly represents. Is there regard for that anymore?
I don't necessarily, and let me segue, if I can, segue and also piggyback on what Pastor Carol has said. Now, I personally have not experienced, let me just go on the record, I personally have not experienced any violent rhetoric or attack. Not to downplay what Pastor Carol has said, I just personally have not received it. I believe most certainly that here in the Bahamas, I'm not going to say that we are as bad as the United States or even what the UK is trying to do. I do believe that, yes, of course, when we say things on Facebook, there's going to be pushback, most certainly in particular from the LGBTQ community. But of course, I have not experienced any violence to that end. But to answer your question, Shanique, about Easter, really and truly the church should not be saying Easter, because Easter and the resurrection doesn't go together. Easter is a pagan holiday. And we are told by Paul throughout the New Testament that we are to avoid paganism. So I don't say Easter, I say resurrection.
Right.
And of course, you know, we go back and forth even in Christendom as to the specific days, because there are some churches in Christendom that believe that Jesus died on the Wednesday, rose on the Friday. Well, of course, and then there's some that believe he died on Thursday, rose on Sunday to make the complete 3 days. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that he arose. But this is what I want to say, Shanique, and this is something the Lord was dealing with me about the other day. I was reading in the Word where it said, this same power that raised Jesus from the dead is the same power that dwells in us. Now, either we as the body of Christ, do not have a full understanding of the Word of God, or we don't have a real relationship with Jesus. Because I'm going to say that the church is lacking in the manifestation of that power post-resurrection. We're having a lot of talk. We're having a lot of prophetic utterance. Some of them are true, some are not, on Facebook, social media, etc. We're having a lot of preaching. We're having a lot of hype. We're having a lot of emotionalism, but we're not having a whole lot of the benefit of the display of power in the church.
That is why the Bahamians in particular just have had enough. It's an oversaturation of everybody prophesying, preaching, and doing whatever else they're doing. And maybe that is why there's this disregard for anybody representing that.
Listen, the church, if I could just finish, the church grew because of the manifestation of the power of God through the apostles. Let's not forget Acts chapter 1 through to Acts chapter 3. If we are going to grow the body of Christ in this time, we must go back to Acts chapter 1 through to verse 4. We must forget the emotionalism. We must forget the hype. Let me say this nationally. We must stop this preaching on enemies and prosperity. We must go back to the word, and we must preach the undiluted word of God. Because it is that word that brings salvation to lost souls.
What do you mean enemies? What do you mean enemies?
Well, we say it so much. We hear it so much on Facebook. Your enemies hate you. Your enemies are going to do this. Your enemies are doing that. This is no way in the word. We are not taught to preach enemies. And there are many people on Facebook that are preaching these enemies' messages and having a lot of likes and having a lot of followers, probably because of ignorance. We must stop this. That is not what God told us to preach. There are many of you, I'm going to say you because I ain't one of them. There are many persons on Facebook that are making a message out of enemies in the United States and the Bahamas, where God has not told us to preach that. He told us to preach the kingdom, because only when the kingdom is preached will there be the manifestation of power. There will be no manifestation of power when you preach on enemies. There will only be somebody who is receiving your money, that's teaching and preaching on enemies, and got their bank account on the screen so you could sow into their lives. And nothing else happens to you but a bunch of confusion.
So back now,
we must stop this.
Let's just bring it right here to the Easter and the significance of Easter, because this is, however you see it, Resurrection Sunday, whatever, there's not much regard for it anymore.
Let me say this too. I want to add to what Prophet is saying.
Stay on message.
I think that we're losing the sacredness of Easter. We're losing what's the real reason of the resurrection, why he died.
And I think we should not confuse Easter with that.
So we're losing the sacredness of it. I personally believe that the church is doing well when it comes down to the feeding. I think we're doing well when it comes down to community. We're doing well when it comes down to whatever it is for the nation. But when it comes down to the sacred gospel, I think, Shanique, that's why we're losing it.
Absolutely.
And that's why the sinners can make excuses why they don't want to be saved any longer, because they see how the church is walking to a place where we're dropping too low. And so, Shanique, the sinners or the Gentile nation is making an excuse why they should not be saved, because they see where we're dropping in certain things. So all the sacredness and how God died and the way we should dress and the way we hold God in high regard in this kind of time, they don't see it any longer. People are just talking about this. And when I look at certain things on Facebook, I said, this is not how, that's a sacred time where we honor God and we hallow in his name, and they see the power and they see the glory and they see how we reverence God. But now we just have a showtime and a bunch of foolishness.
Absolutely.
But I do believe the church has relevance. I do believe the church is rising. I do believe the prophets are rising. But the sacredness, Shanique, that's what we're losing. And we're going to get back to that soon.
And so, ladies, on this Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday, hear what I call it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even mention the E word.
No.
What should the focus of this nation be?
Yeah.
You each can take turns answering that.
More than anything else, we must point lost souls to Jesus.
Yeah, that's the
the
main
sacredness of the Christian faith is that we are pointing lost souls to Jesus. It's not about us going in a church and raising a cross and singing songs that may be solemn. No. It is about leading lost souls to Jesus Christ. That is the sacredness of this period, this time of Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. Because we must not lose sight, Shanique, of why Jesus came. Jesus didn't come only to preach. Jesus really came to this earth to die. Because if he did not die, we could not live again. And so the sacredness of Christianity during this time is to lead those who are lost back to Jesus Christ.
And the only way we can lead them if they see us doing it.
Absolutely.
Right? And so he came to Jerusalem. He's riding on a donkey. He came humble. He came low. And one of the things we lack in the church is humility. We lack the humility of God. And so that's why a lot of souls are not coming to Christ. It's because we don't see the humility of the church, the sacredness of the church. And so because there's so much other things that are coming into the church, the people are saying the church is a joke. But we're not a joke.
We've lost our message.
There's some, exactly. But there's some of us who are walking with God.
Absolutely.
There's some of us who hold this in high regard as a sacred time of Christ. Go ye out into the world and make disciples of men.
Yes.
You see, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. This is the hour, Shanique, the church can rise up and we can baptize because God is about to come. But keep this thing sacred. Keep this thing holy. Let us hallow. Stop the foolishness and the mess in the house of God, and we will stop standing in the way of sinners.
And live holy.
And we start doing this, we'll see more souls coming to Christ.
Absolutely.
Ladies, I thank you very much. I love you put a whole different twist on the message for this season. But thank you very, very much for still setting the tone for the season and the significance of it. As we say, the Good Friday and the Resurrection Sunday, the season called Easter. And of course, you heard the explanation about that. Thank you all very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for stopping by. And it's good to see you both, by the way.
Thank you
Good
for
to be
having us.
here.
Thank you for seeing you.
Good to be here.
Yes, absolutely. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this break.
Security Depot makes shopping in the Bahamas easy. Shop the latest appliances, electronics, furniture, gadgets, toys, and so much more on our website, securitydepot242.com. See an item you like? Simply click on it, move to cart, and check out with the option of in-store pickup or home delivery. Endless possibilities are at securitydepot242.com.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day, and don't forget the special offer from Cornet Bahamas. From April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% off store-wide. That's right, everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Cornet Bahamas.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Legends of Breaking Spray. Get ready for the biggest names in Bahamian music live on stage. KB, Funky D, Chino D, D-Ma, Sweet Emily, Simeon Alton, Veronica Bishop, and more like the Singing Bishop. Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road. Gates open at 6 p.m. General admission 80, VIP 120. Tickets available at Missouri, Bookie Brand at the Beauty Shack, both locations. Skyboxes and Sky Pod. Call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Saturday, May 10th. Come by Bo and play and experience the legends of Breaking Scrape. Brought to you by Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, ESC Distributors, Missouri, The Plug, The Beauty Shack, Bahamas Inn, Bookie Brand, and Caribbean Wines and Spirits.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by the Legends of Rake and Scrape, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all here. With growing pressure from the opposition and the public to reveal the identity of a high-ranking politician implicated in an international drug ring, the Office of the Prime Minister says U.S. officials are keeping their cards close. Linton Ritchie Jr. has the details in this story, and then we come back and discuss.
United States officials have denied the government's to reveal the name of the politician accused of allegedly receiving nearly $2 million to facilitate cocaine shipments through the Bahamas. In a statement Tuesday evening, the Office of the Prime Minister confirmed that the U.S. Embassy advised both at the time and since that as a matter of practice, they do not comment on ongoing investigations or judicial processes. Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands described the case as a dark cloud still hanging over the country, saying the indictment has shaken confidence in national institutions.
This matter, as well as a number of others, have shaken confidence in a major arm.
Earlier this week, Prime Minister Philip Davis seemed to defend law enforcement officers implicated in the U.S. indictment, claiming they were entrapped, but the opposition calls that response irresponsible.
Absolute absurdity. It was a ridiculous statement to be made by a head of state.
Sands later released a written statement accusing Davis of making empty promises to, quote, shake the tree until all bad apples fall, calling it nothing more than political theater. OPM quickly fired back, accusing Sands of fake outrage and awarding him the title of, quote, most desperate. Sands, however, shrugged it off as political mudslinging.
To reduce it to a personal attack is even less becoming, but I don't take any umbrage.
Amid the war of words, Sands says the real issue is being missed and that the nation's leader owes the people a direct statement.
You have to apologize to the public for making such a statement.
According to OPM, Prime Minister Davis continues to meet with U.S. officials as both nations reiterate their commitment to cooperation in the ongoing case. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, there you have it. Of course, that case has been hanging over our heads truly since last year when the indictment was handed down and this all broke. Quite frankly, we know that those officers remain in the United States. We await more information, though, because a heavy sort of mic drop moment happened when they said that there is a politician attached to this matter. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines contributors Leslie Miller and Garth Rosborough. I want to know the word entrapment. That seems to be now the center of the latest row surrounding this whole entire indictment. Was that the best word to use? And perhaps what does the Prime Minister mean when he says those officers were entrapped or there's an entrapment happened? Jump in, Garth.
Well, I see Mr. Miller is quiet. He doesn't want to be entrapped tonight. Well, I'll go ahead and say this. There's a time when, you just don't say anything. I think here in the Easter, they call it the season of Thanksgiving for the death and resurrection of Christ. There's a time when even Jesus himself said absolutely nothing. You're facing a situation where there are accusations. I don't have the full story. Apparently, the Prime Minister doesn't have the full story. But I consider all that's being discussed. I do, however, remember that we in the Bahamas, we also have a story that we're still waiting for answers for, too. We're waiting to hear about all these officers that were involved in some type of skullduggery in terms of violence in our country. We still have not gotten a complete answer on those questions as yet. Yet we're trying to get into the United States of America's business and say, you know what, we demand answers. We want to know more. Well, how could we ask America to tell us more when our very own Bahamas, our Bahamians, our officials, our politicians, speaking to you tonight, you wouldn't even tell us what's going on? I have a big problem with this. I'm choking tonight over this.
So you're saying sweep before our own door, get our ducks in a row, and deal with whatever has to be dealt with and addressed sufficiently that the Bahamian people, the trust is restored before we go and look at what the feds are doing.
Yes. I'm stirred in my soul about this. I'm really passionate about this situation because for so long we've been hearing about our country being a violent country. We just spoke about the jet ski situation the other day. All these things are being spoken of. Yet the Bahamian people are still left with questions unanswered. Yet we're saying in a particular situation where two people have been indicted, that we want to know more. I'll be very honest. I feel for them. I feel for their families. Whatever has occurred, I don't feel we should even get involved in any discussion about entrapment or indictment at this particular time. I think right now, mum is the word. Let us deal with our household business. Tell me about some of these situations that we still are hearing about. We have families here in the Bahamas who are still hurting over those situations. And so once again, I stand very strong when I say to you, if you're so concerned about two people over in North America in a situation of indictment, why can't you simply tell us about the tens of people in this country who are waiting questions about similar situations?
These are very difficult times that we're in. these are sobering times also. Our country, the Bahamas, is a very small country. We're already on this hit list. The U.S. has out, came out yesterday that these 10 countries are going to catch hell with visas and what have you. I'm not certain, I don't think none of us are certain what really took place. And it took place over two governments. The FNM was in power when these situations started, with the so-called, I can't say so-called, with the alleged drug situation that was going on at Independent International Airport. It is such a touchy situation. And most of us would just prefer to leave it alone and see what comes to light. You know, we have serious accusation. Two Bahamians are held in the United States of America. A few are held in, I understand, in Dominican Republic, not related to this, but on drug charges. I am very concerned, and I'm concerned about what the good gentleman said just now, about the accusations against some of the policemen here in New Providence.
Yeah,
who've been under suspicion. I didn't quite clearly grasp what you were alluding to.
But I recall when we were at the height of all of this concern in our country, Mr. Miller, you recall when the Bahamian people were saying, maybe we need to get Scotland Yard involved. Maybe we need to get the CIA or the FBI involved. You recall those sentiments being spread throughout the country?
And Scotland Yard did come to the
But this is what I'm saying to you. We said we need external help. So if you're asking for external help from the very same people who are now helping you with the situation that is a possible indictment, then what you worrying about, let the people do their friggin' job, you know, and let the church roll on. That's what I say.
In answer to that, I would say that, you know, the case is pending. The charges haven't been dropped on them yet.
That is correct.
They're the worst place in the world to be indicted in New York, the Southern District, which is a very, very, very tough court to deal with, tough district.
Yeah, that is horrible.
I think we just have to sit back and let the government do what the government has to do with regard to those men who are over there on those serious, serious charges. And they affect the comfort of the Bahamas, they affect the dignity of our country.
But it has called into question the dignity of this nation and what happens. And Garth, you alluded to it as well, the fact that, you know, what goes on under the cover of darkness. We saw right after that arrests and the arrests and indictment, there was a series of drug busts and stuff that followed. So it puts into question, you know, exactly like where are we as a nation? What is it that's tolerated? And mind you, it all, again, it's just perception, but it was just so convenient.
What is it? Perception is reality.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Especially in the polls.
Yes.
And you had a whole police commissioner who stepped down. All of that in the midst of all of this.
Yes, and so I get what you're saying. Listen, the feds will do what they have to do.
Yes.
Let's clean up our own house right here. But listen, speaking of cleaning up house, there is unrest in the office of the Postmaster General tonight. Over a dozen workers protested today to send a firm message that they have had enough of what they describe as disrespectful and dismissive leadership from a woman whose appointment, they say, should not have happened in the first place. Jose Etienne gives us a closer look at today's protest and how it played out.
Drama unfolding outside the General Post Office Wednesday morning as dozens of frustrated unionized workers withdrew their labor indefinitely, calling for Acting Postmaster General Siobhan Johnson to be removed as head of the government agency.
Very disrespectful. There's no regard for senior management.
I am certain that Ms. Davis did not send her here to demean the staff.
Ms. Miller, an assistant postmaster general, claims she was physically assaulted by Johnson. An altercation she says happened after she tried to re-enter her office, which she alleges Johnson had her locked out of.
I said, why did you lock the door? She said, because I'm the postmaster and I can do what I want to do in here. And so I told the gentleman, I said, continue opening the door, please. And he was trying to open it, and she pushed her way through. And she ended up pushing me, so I turned around and I pushed her back.
Johnson, however, is telling a different story.
As far as I'm concerned, my conduct was appropriate, which was I de-escalated. It was witnessed by 4 persons, and it was escalated to our ministry for further handling, and is currently under investigation. But I was in no way the aggressor.
Cheryl Kemp, a superintendent at the post office, accused Johnson of denying her a promotion she claims is long overdue. And she's one of several senior executives being pushed aside allegedly.
I am up for promotion, and she looked me in my face and told me she is having my promotion scrutinized.
With workers now being fed up with the alleged blatant disrespect, they're now demanding for the acting post general master to be removed and replaced. Otherwise, workers say they could be forced to make decisions that could deplete the staff here at the post office.
You've had now senior officers who are just prepared to either seek other department or agencies to work in or opting now for early retirement.
Johnson insists that protesting workers represent only a subset of the staff and that she walked into a workplace that was not welcoming.
I myself walked into a hostile environment. So when it comes to respect, that goes both ways.
She's also taking exception to what she calls resistance against her attempts to modernize and clean up the system.
From I've come into the role, it has been just this onward fight with staying in the status quo when we're not there anymore. Modern day post offices are fully digitized. When it comes to a promotion of anyone, I assume all of us are subjected to being reviewed. Some people do not like feedback that says you have an area to improve.
And while Union President Kingsley Ferguson has threatened to prolong the strike, Johnson says the post office will remain operational despite industrial action. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy and Transport, led by Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis, released a statement Wednesday morning condemning the demonstration and describing it as disruptive to ongoing efforts to reform the department. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Well, before we get in there, President of the Bahamas Public Services Union, Kingsley Ferguson, also voicing his dissatisfaction with Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis. He says that she's been unreachable on addressing the issues of his membership. He says that he claims the government officials initially violated the rules when they decided to appoint Siobhan Johnson as head of the Post Office Department. And it is an issue that draws parallel to other alleged contractual appointments that union executives have taken grave exception to.
Every attempt was made to reach the minister. For some reason or another, you cannot access her. I guess there are people who are beneath her. And of course, I'm seeing an attitude demonstrated in that particular regard, but I was able to successfully reach the permanent secretary, who could not give any particulars regarding what is transpiring at the post office, other than the fact that the substantive holder of the office has been moved and advised to report to the Ministry of Transport, where I guess she's supposed to be working from. Again, we don't understand the circumstances or the particulars regarding the movement of the substantive holder of the office, but we are very, very concerned. We are finding all over the public service that the government's successive administrations are abusing their powers to a point. In Article 108 of the Constitution, it speaks to the power to appoint, which is solely vested in the Governor General on the advice of the Public Service Commission, which is supposed to be the watchdog of the public service. And so we're seeing a lot of arbitrary appointments.
Well, of course, that's Union President of the Bahamas Public Services Union, Kingsley Ferguson. But back to that protest today, the workers there have been reportedly agitating now for quite some time. Whatever the relationship is, it appears to be very hostile and something that employees have been trying to get addressed. Should this have lingered on so long, Leslie and Garth, to the point that they took to the pavement outside the Postmaster General's office this afternoon?
I think it's a very difficult situation. In terms of looking at the faces of the masses, there is an enormous amount of pressure to actually look at this in a very fair way. You have a young lady who is working on an appointment. You get a call that you're going to be assigned, and you're given a mandate that you are to change, the key word change, to a better institution. In so doing, it means now that you must now go ahead and plow through. You have to go ahead and break up the ground, and you have to now go ahead and start to replan better ideas for a better operation. Mm-hmm. In order to do that anywhere around the world, in every institution around the world, you are looking for problems. I got sick to this whole Holy Week. Jesus Christ tried it. He came in with this whole new idea on how to change things. He went into his father's house, and he turned the tables over and said, man, look, you made my father's house in the den of thieves. You see what I got him? Crucified. This lady was put in a situation where from a human resources standpoint, you are going to be crucified. You have to count the cost. So you're saying
she was given a very heavy mandate to go and change some stuff, to get some things and put them in alignment. People are resistant to it, and this is the result.
Yes, this is the result because there are people who have been waiting their entire career to actually attain the position that she has. You have some envy in there. You have some jealousy in there. And man, let's look at this, man. One of the 12 disciples, only 12 of them, but one of them had to go and see the chief priest. One of them had to go and tell the government, you know what, let's take care of this one fella. This is what's happening here. This lady, I don't think she's an unprofessional person, but I do believe that she started with an unfair advantage. She's been actually put...
Or disadvantage.
She's very much disadvantaged. And so my heart goes out to her, but in order to correct this issue, this is election season. The government has to correct this and correct this very quickly. And Mr. Ferguson is going to need answers. So Ms. Jobeth Colby, the minister, I think you need to have a conversation.
This appears to be an ongoing situation. It's been flaring now for months. You find in very many instances, persons who have been working in these ministries and entities for a long, long time, but have been moving up the ladder to the extent that the next move may be the top position. And then someone new comes in, out of the blue, with no experience in that particular area. You expect people to take umbrage for that. You expect to take, look at it in a very negative light. And I've seen it happen in very many places. This lady, I understand, has been to BEC for some period of time, to water and sewage. I don't know anything about it. I've never seen it in my life, to be honest with you, except just now. And, women tempers flare more than us. This seems to be a battle of the females, a one-upmanship.
And then the fellas ain't saying nothing. They just stand
the fellas, we noticed, not one man spoke, except the union president. So that the ladies take the limelight and have their little wars. Hopefully, the minister would step in and bring some semblance of fair play to this matter and get it resolved so that everybody can carry on with their jobs. Like you said, this is the silly season, which is the political season, and that's when advantages are going to become involved in who should get what. Because we're going to the polls next year, so you got to be careful how you touch those toes and put people in place that people take offense to.
And it shouldn't be done just because election is looming. It should be done to make persons in the public service who are career civil servants to be treated respectfully and to have them work in an environment that brings about greater productivity. After all, that is what we all seek out of the public service, right? And so we're supposed to is correct. And so, just get it right just for the sake of doing the right thing and getting it right. Not to do the popular thing now. Just get it right, or see if there's some legitimacy to what these people are saying. Exactly. Now, it looked like the whole department out there, so perhaps it bears listening to and looking at again, and not just saying it's mischief. And if it's mischief, then rule with a firm hand. But certainly not the entire department can't be mischievous.
Be fair and impartial, do it.
Well, be fair and impartial, absolutely. So we'll continue to follow this up. I wanted to get to some other stories, but hey, we have to obviously revisit that tomorrow evening. But gentlemen, thank you very much for your insight and your perspectives and opinions. We're going to take a quick break and come back. We're going to lighten the mood in here. We have a beauty queen. That's right. She's coming. She's going to join me right after the break. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
My name is Omar Ferguson. I've been disabled now from 2009. What inspired me to start my own business? It was the determination to know that I still had something left in me, even though a lot of my independence, my mobility was being restricted. In my disability, it's kind of hard finding the investors or the capital. For example, national insurance. The benefit that we receive, it's a lifeline. And in any business that you're going to take, it's going to be a risk. We're not looking for handouts, but we want you to understand that we still need a little special care. This literally gives us a backbone that, hey, we could actually stand someday. This is the business I know it's gonna be a risk. Even going through that process, I'm still dependent on national insurance. Overall, being in the program itself has put me in a place where I feel young again. I feel like anything is possible. I would say to others with disabilities, look around your community, just like you guys said in one of the modules. See what is needed in your community and go for it. Don't be afraid, just go for it.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, we're really happy for this segment because it's the holiday after all, something to just lighten the mood a bit after dealing with some of the bigger stories and the issues attached. And so let's just meet this young lady. She's been making the rounds. I'll tell you this, I don't know what her aim is, but because she has been interviewed several times. But she is Tatiana Weaver. She's 18 years old and she's Miss Mayagwana. She will compete on April 27th. Against 9 other girls in the Miss Teen Bahamas pageant. It's good to have you here, Tatiana. Good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening. It's amazing to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. First of all, explain how you've been able to pull all of this sort of media tour that's been happening. I mean, obviously you stand out. I was told, Shanique, listen, you gotta get her on. She is amazing. She has a lot to say. She's quite intriguing and engaging. Like, speak with her. So explain how that happened.
Well, I wasn't on Facebook. My mom was on Facebook because she mostly handles my Facebook, and I handle my Instagram and other social media accounts. And I had posted on it, and I was contacted that they said that you should totally come on the show. That was when I first went to 96.9, and I had my radio show.
Yes, really, really awesome. That's good. And you've prepared on other shows since then.
Yes, I have.
Well, you're here tonight.
I am.
So tell us about yourself, Tatiana. You compete at the end of the month. You're representing the island of Mayagwana. Tell us about yourself, what your platform is, and what is it that you hope to bring to the pageant itself?
Well, as you may know, my name is Tatiana Weaver. I'm an 18-year-old senior leader at Queens College. not only do I do pageantry, but I'm also a basketball player and I love baking.
No way, no way. In these 6-inch heels and all this makeup and everything else, you play basketball.
Yes, I do.
Really, really? What position do you play?
I play point guard.
Point guard, really awesome. You love baking as well.
I love
so
baking.
So that's a whole lot of different things going on in this one person.
In this one person.
Yeah, that's really awesome. What is it about basketball that's fun for you, and also just what does it teach you?
Well, I played basketball since the 2nd grade.
Oh.
And I fell in love with the sport mostly because I have a connected team that I get to connect with. And with the pageantry, with me playing basketball, it ended up going into the pageantry where I know that I need a team in order to come out with the win as though I really want it.
So you're there, while of course you're there to win, you're still looking at it as a team, and you ladies have formed obviously this bond to create this wonderful magic as this team to go towards the finals.
Yes, definitely. We've created such a bonding experience, such a sisterhood that we can call each other whenever we need something.
Now, what is your platform? I know that each contestant has something that they're passionate about, that should they win, it's something they want to bring attention to and sort of drive and obviously bring the nation on board with. What is it that you're going to be focused on?
Well, my platform for this year is autism awareness, but I've branched it off to not only being autism awareness, but I've started a nonprofit organization called the Healing Minds Project. It focuses not only with children with autism, but also those that face mental health challenges as well.
Very, very topical and timely right now. What is it that concerns you with mental health, especially in the Bahamas as it's showing and playing out? We see the headlines almost daily, whether it's attempted suicides and self-harm and all the rest of it, and just all the other things. I mean, from anxiety and depression and the rest of it. What concerns? What made you zero in on that? Well, I just kind of said it, but what is it you want to obviously have people come to realize and respect and sort of know that this is what's happening around us?
Well, definitely I want not only just our community, but also the entire Bahamas to know that mental health is very important. And if we just have a conversation a day, that could probably save a life. But I branched it off into autism awareness and mental health because many people with autism, they suffer with mental health issues, whether it's anxiety or depression. And I would just like the entire Bahamas to know that even though they may seem different, they still need a lot of help. They still need someone to talk to, and they don't want to feel outcasted. So that's why I chose my platform to merge both of them so that the entire nation know that, yes, they are different, but they're still a part of us. They're still a part of the Bahamian people.
Yeah, I commend you for even going in that direction and wanting to bring further attention to that. Let's talk about some of the highlights that's happened already in the whole pageant experience leading up to the finals at the end of the month. What stands out in your mind?
Well, this whole pageant experience has been amazing. It started off in January actually, and to see now that it's ending, it's quite bittersweet because I've gotten to create so many bonds in the organization. They are such lovely people. But the highlight of my whole pageant experience would definitely be the bonds that I've created, the sisters that I have gotten. They've taken me, they've seen me at my lowest, they've seen me at my highest, and definitely that would be one of the most important moments to me in this pageant season.
What do you want people to come to realize in? Because, pageantry is sort of waned a bit. What do you want Bahamians to gain an understanding of and to come to sort of appreciate all over again about pageantry?
Well, definitely me being in a pageant has taught me so much, not only about the pageant organization and about the crown, but the pageant has also grown me to be the person that I am today. Pageantry can teach you so many things. It can teach you about yourself. It can teach you it can teach you the way of the world. And currently in the Bahamas International Pageant Organization that I'm a part of, they teach us life skills. They teach us about health. They teach us about mental health, and they teach us about our financial life. So definitely it's more, pageant isn't just about walking across the stage in beautiful dresses, makeup on, hair on. It's mostly about the person that you saw in January definitely would not be the person that you see in April.
That's the thing, it transforms you,
yes.
Especially if you really get into the whole process. It really adds to who you are and helps you obviously become this wonderful woman for obviously your life ahead.
Yes, definitely.
How do you plan to stand out on the 27th?
Well, on the 27th, I plan to stand out with my personality. I have a really big personality. I'm big in personality but very short in stature. So if you look on stage, you would see there's a bunch of tall girls on stage, but there's this little short munchkin, and I'm definitely that short munchkin, but my personality definitely overshadows my height.
It makes up for it.
Yes, it does.
Well, good luck. Good luck to you on Sunday. On the 27th. Good luck to you. I know you have several events leading up to that, but good luck to you on the 20th. Thanks for stopping by. I thank you very much for just sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me.
And also for the platform that you want focused on and the nonprofit organization that you've established around that. Really, really important. Keep it up, because so many Bahamians, just separate from autism, need to understand and know that mental health is an issue here, and it's important to give it the attention it needs and it deserves.
Yes, definitely.
Good luck on the 27th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tatiana Weaver, 18 years old, Miss Teen Mayaguana. She is one of the contestants in the upcoming Miss Teen Bahamas pageant, again, April 27th. Thank you very much, Tatiana. Of course, at the top of tonight's show, thank you to Pastors Carol Moss and Patrice Smith. In the middle of our show this evening, some hot topics with Leslie Miller and Garth Rosborough. And then there's you. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Oh, listen, she go in. Seriously, this. Thank you. I wanted to say this here. I got this from a gentleman by the name of Trevor. Trevor works at the Margaritaville area on Paradise Island, where they go to the Blue Lagoon, and he gave this to me that he enjoys Beyond the Headlines. And just listen, this is so lovely. Wonderful little turtle. I wish you all could really see the different colors. Just so nice. This is what we do here in the Bahamas. So lovely. Go visit him, buy something. Thank you, Trevor. Thanks for watching, by the way. Thank you for reminding me about that. Thank you once again. See you tomorrow evening.